When people talk Borderlands 3 weapons, you always hear Light Show, Flipper, Hellwalker. But today, I'm shining a light on some of the most underrated guns in the game that deserve way more respect. We're starting off strong with honorable mention, with the Storos Burn from DLC 2. On the surface, it looks like a meme weapon, low base damage, a break mechanic, and a recoil that feels awkward at first. But here's what most players miss. When the weapon breaks, it deals guaranteed crit damage from self-combustion. That's right, free crits. Now, combine that with an elemental projector artifact, and suddenly you're pumping out insane damage. Self-damage is much easier to manage compared to something like Pain is Power or Embrace the Pain. And if you're running Zane with a strong shield or health regen, you can easily sustain it. This gun goes from trash tier to a sneaky powerhouse in the right setup. Artifacts are really takes off. Pair it with an elemental projector auto idle, the self-combustion keeps you in a constant elemental status, which in turn gives you massive damage bonus and health regen. You're basically turning the gun's drawback into free sustain and bonus DPS. If you want to try and roll annoyance, I would recommend the consecutive hits annoyance, or while barrier is active, gain increased weapon damage. Both scale incredibly well with the Storos guaranteed crits. You can also roll with After Action Skill End for 200% splash for burst windows if you want to lean harder into mobbing. Barely making it into the top 3, we have the Flood. I feel like this gun gets completely ignored because of the pistols, like the Unforgiven, the Maggie, or the King's Call. But here's the thing, the Flood is a precise weapon. Most Jacob pistols are semi-auto. You click, they fire. But the Flood? It's full auto. Hold down the trigger and it just spits out bullets non-stop, while still ricocheting on crit like other Jacob's weapons. That makes it perfect for flak, especially with fadeaway crits. You basically turn this pistol into a bullet hose of crit chains. Sure, it doesn't have the raw single shot burst or something like the Maggie, but the Flood shines in sustained fire and boss DPS. And honestly, it just feels fun to use, which is why it deserves more love. For class mods, the Bounty Hunter is my go-to. It makes bosses count as if they're hunted prey, so you can keep your hunter skills active even during boss fights. The Cosmic Stalker is another great choice if you want to boost all hunter skill effectiveness even more. The Pearl of Ineffable Knowledge is best in slot here. The Flood rewards consistent hits, and the Pearl stacks damage with every crit. The Victory Rush also works well for mobbing, giving you bonus damage after each badass kill. And of course, we can't forget Annoyance. With the Flood, you want ones that reward sustained fire or crits. Consecutive hits is perfect since you're never letting go of the trigger. Or 300% weapon damage against enemies above 90% health is fantastic for boss phases. Or if you want to experiment, Fade Away active 150% crit damage can absolutely melt bosses. The only thing I need to mention is its ammo economy. This thing eats pistol ammo fast. To fix that, run a cut purse artifact and pair it with a melee weapon like the Face Puncher. Every melee hit regains ammo, which keeps the Flood firing endlessly. If you build for it, it's one of the most fun and underrated weapons. Coming in the second spot, we have the Miscreant from BL3. This gun lives in the shadow of the Light Show, which is fair. The Light Show is one of the best pistols in the game, but the Miscreant does something different that makes it worth your time. While the Light Show fires 4 fast projectiles, the Miscreant fires 1, or if you get the ×2 version, but here's the kicker, it deals splash damage. For Zane's splash focused builds, especially when paired with things like the Seeing Dead or Executor class mod. Also, the Pearl of Ineffable Knowledge stacks perfectly well with the Miscreant's rapid fire, giving you ramping damage. Or you can go Victory Rush for mobbing, since the Miscreant chews through badasses quickly. A Snowdrift auto idle can also keep you mobile while healing you through self-splash damage if you run into it. Now let's talk anointments. While Barrier is active and while Sentinel is active are two of the best ones to pair this with. Also, pair this with the Revolta shield and suddenly the Miscreant turns into a mobbing machine that also chunks bosses during amp windows. The Miscreant adds way more utility than people think. It's not just about raw DPS, it's about area coverage, and this gun gives Zane exactly that. Don't write it off just because the Light Show exists. And finally, last but not least, at number 1, we have The Trevinator. This shotgun has been around since launch, and honestly, it's criminally overlooked. The main reason people skip it is because it just doesn't scale as flashy as newer DLC weapons. But here's the thing, the Trevinator fires multiple elemental projectiles that explode on impact. That means splash damage. And if you played Moe's, you already know their splashes are bread and butter. With the right splash boosts and short fuse synergy, the Trevinator can absolutely wipe mobs, and even chunk bosses faster than you expect. It may not have the hype of the Flipper, but it's reliable. It's formable, and in Moe's hands, it's a beast. Class modes make this weapon even stronger. The Blastmaster is hands down the best pairing. It keeps your splash damage scaling as long as you don't reload. The Trevinator's mag is generous, and with skills like redistribution and some for the road, you'll barely ever need to reload anyway. The Bloodletter also works well if you want to run a shield-focused setup, since the Trevinator can sustain shield-based health gating with vampire grenades. Now for Annoyance. The best Annoyant on this weapon is on action skill end, deal 200% increased splash damage for a short time. This is the number one Annoyant for the Trevinator. Every projectile counts as splash, so this triples your output. The Trevinator is a base game weapon that still absolutely keeps up when paired with most splash heavy kit. If you're written off as outdated, then you'll be surprised with how hard it still slaps. And that's my list of some of the most underrated weapons in Borderlands 3. And with Borderlands 4 on the way, I've got a question for you. What kind of challenge run should I do on day 1? Drop your challenge run suggestions in the comments, and who knows, I might make your idea my very first Borderlands 4 playthrough.